Hey everybody, welcome to Take a Deep Breath. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us here on a Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you might be. My name is Maher. I'm breathwork coach and host of Take a Deep Breath. And this is my wonderful friend, Paul Hughes from Vivation International. And we're just going to give it a couple of minutes before we do proper introductions and get stuck into the purpose of today and some beautiful breath work. So to allow people to join. So I would love it if you would be part of this session with us. And in doing so, please use the live chat and just let us know where you're from in the world, what you've been up to today, maybe what breath work you've tried in the past. So just a couple of things, pop those in while I just accept a few people in and close a few things down. And we'll get started, probably about another minute or two. So where you're from. You do need to be subscribed to chat in this chat. So if you've not hit the subscribe button yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free, and we are going to give you some beautiful breath work today. And if somebody could also just double check and definitely tell me if they can hear me or not in the chat as well, that would also be very, very helpful. There's a few more people coming in. So we'll probably start about 4-5 minutes past. So another 60 seconds and we'll get started. FOMO Sapien outside of London. FOMO Sapien, can you hear me? I'm assuming that's a yes because you've put where you're from. So you must have heard me to answer that. Vikram, and listening to you guys near Hamburg. Beautiful. I don't think I've been to Hamburg. I was in Cologne recently. Have you been there, Paul?
I've been to Hamburg as well. Yeah. Beautiful city.
Weymouth. Cooking, yoga, relaxing. That sounds like a great day, Peter. Miami. Hey, Edward. Becky. Phoenix. I've done some of your breath events with Tom G. Tom G, a mutual friend of both of mine and Paul's. Beautiful. Follow a few others. Thank you. Eating my dinner though, so not sure about joining in. Sounds very good. Well, this is going to be recorded. It's going to be left up for a little bit on YouTube. So if you don't get a chance straight away to breathe, there's no pressure. You can come back and you can watch it later. I'll probably leave this recording up for at least a couple of days. Serbia, beautiful, and Sweden. I was just speaking to Anders Olsen Henok. I don't know if you know of him. He's a big force in Sweden. Hi y'all. From Texas, not a million miles away from yourself, Paul. Cool. Okay, let's get started. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really honoured when people join live, and I haven't done many lives recently. Got a screaming baby downstairs, toddler, so it's always a challenge. You might even hear him at one point, which will be a bit of fun. We can breathe through it. So just once again, my name is Mike Maher. I'm breathwork coach and host of Take a Deep Breath. It's a real privilege to be sharing breathwork with you all. And this is Mr. Paul Hughes, one of the nicest human beings I've ever had the privilege to meet. And he's going to guide us through some beautiful breathwork. Paul, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great. We just hit peak cold here in Wyoming. It got down to minus 28 Fahrenheit or minus 33 Celsius last night. But it's perfectly blue skies. It's kind of weird. You look outside, it's perfectly blue sky. It looks like the summertime, except for there's a little bit of snow in the trees, and recognizing that it is way below zero. But otherwise, doing really great.
That's good. Beautiful. And Paul, just we can hear you perfectly. There's a little bit of a lag or glitch with your video, but it shouldn't make a difference for people with the breath work because the sound is perfect. But just a heads up, there's a bit of a little bit of a lag, and I'll allow for that. So we had a very official agenda for today. So what we're going to do, we're going to kick off with a bit of breath awareness. I'm going to guide us through in a second just to get us settled in for today's session. And then we're going to talk a bit about Vivation, which is, in my opinion, the best conscious connected breathing technique that exists out there. I've sampled a lot of them. So we'll talk a bit about that. And then we'll go through a kind of taster with you and give you the opportunity to feel some of it. I mean, it takes time to learn it, but we'll give you some opportunities to feel it. Paul's going to guide us through that. And then those that are interested, and we've saved this on purpose till the end because this may not be everyone's cup of tea, but those that are interested, there are some spaces left to become a teacher trainer. I became a Vivation teacher last year. It's one of the proudest moments of my breath career. qualifying under Paul in Wyoming. So Paul, just share for us the dates, if you can, for when that teacher training is.
Yeah, so it's coming up. This is coming up the last part of April, April 20th to April 29th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in Thermopolis. Sounds like Thermopylae from, like the famous Spartans, but it's Thermopolis, and it's the largest natural hot spring in North America. It's right here in the heart of Wyoming. And April 20th to 29th, right there in that beautiful location.
Mm-hmm. It's right near Yellowstone. There's hot springs. We've got some photographs we'll share later. So anyway, those that might be interested in doing teacher training, that will be at the end. For everybody else, we want to make this a really inclusive session for today. So we're going to go through some breath work together. So let's start that process now. So if you would like to just go into your space, if you feel comfortable in closing your eyes, don't have to. You can keep a soft gaze. And what I'd love for you to do is just start to pay attention to the breath and not change anything at this stage. Just notice the breath. And how is your breath right now? Is it fast or shallow? Slow, deep, a mix? Where is the breath wanting to go? So just paying attention to where the breath is. We've heard so much about good breathing and bad breathing and belly breathing and chest breathing and mouth breathing, and forget all of that. This is just paying attention to the breath. We make nothing wrong in breath awareness. The body wants to breathe how the body wants to breathe, and we honor that just by noticing. Maybe you can feel the air coming through the nose or the mouth, hitting the back of the throat. Maybe you can feel the expansion of the lungs, the ribs, the belly, the chest. And what may have already happened for some of you is you may have already noticed that just going through this observation process, the breath has already slowed ever so slightly, and that's okay. We just pay attention. And if you feel so inclined, just put a little cheeky smile on your face and just see what that does to the texture of the breath. Maybe a little bit more, a little bit more. And now maybe just think of something that brings you some gratitude or some joy. Could be as simple as a really good cup of coffee. Could be a family member. It could have been this morning. Just something that brings you a little spark of joy. And then just hold that close to your heart for a second. All the time, we're just noticing. We haven't changed the breath here at all. We're not consciously trying to do any particular breath work. We're just noticing what these things do to the breath. You're doing great. And just to close off this part of the session, we'll do a little bit of. I've taken this from a few people, but I'm calling it grumpy face body yoga at the desk. I need to come up with a better name, but I learned some of this from Paul. So what we're going to do is, this is the most wonderful thing about breathwork, by the way. I get very excited here. Like, you don't need Lululemon pants. You don't need to go and sit on top of a mountain. You don't need to, take your shirt off and have a six pack. We can just breathe wherever we are, on the bus, on the train, at your desk, waiting in the post office, holding your baby when you can't get to sleep at night and he won't sleep and you can breathe through it. All these things we can do, and the breath is always with us. But the body needs some preparation. We're not designed to sit all day. If we look at our hunter-gatherer ancestors, they were moving around the place, and we carry a lot of extra energy. And so let's just get rid of a little bit of that now. I'm just going to be a little bit fun, a little bit silly with you. Paul, feel free to play with me if you want as well. So let's just start by squinching the face up and then letting go. So breathing in and scrunching up, relaxing and letting go. Looks dead sexy as well. Shoulders all the way up. Letting go. Just let them fall to the side. Taking your time. Shoulders all the way up on the inhale. Letting go. Making fists. Just breathe however you want to breathe. Making balls with your feet if you can as well. A little wiggle, a little shake, a couple more. Couple more. One more. Just shake it all out. Just shake it all out. Gently wiggle the throat, the chest. Let go. Relax the jaw. Relax behind the eyes. Relax the neck. Relax the shoulders. Just again, just with the breath awareness, just notice if any subtle changes happened in your body just then. And just let the body move however it wants to move. Again, a couple of minutes. Incredible what it can do for us. And we'll finish off with what Andrew Huberman calls the physiological sigh. What my friend Jesse Kumar calls the sniff, sniff, poo. And it's a big inhale, followed by a sniff, and a big long exhale. We'll do just 3 of those together. So it looks like this. And the secret I found is just let go on the exhale as much as possible. One more. Let this one count. Let it all go. Okay. Thank you for taking the time in breath awareness with me. I'm looking forward to the rest of this session. Pop some comments in the chat. Let me know how you found all of that. If you found it useful, if there's anything new there. I'd love to have some conversation going today. So I want to just spend a couple of minutes talking about Vivation with Paul. And I don't want to delay our conscious connected session. So we're going to have a beautiful session today that Paul's going to lead us, which we're very honored to do. Paul, in my opinion, is a true master, and he has the most beautiful way of guiding breath work. So I'm so excited for you to feel some of this. So I practiced Vivation many times before, but when I got to go to the US last year and spent 10 days learning to be a teacher, I'm very careful using these words, but it's changed everything in my life. It's changed everything in my life. And I don't say that lightly. The biggest example I will give is I've got a 1-year-old downstairs. And I would get a little bit impatient in the middle of the night when I was having to rock him back to sleep. You know, it's 3 a.m. It's taken an hour for him to get to sleep. I think bloody I need to be up for work in a couple of hours. But I've been able to breathe through it. I've been able to vive through that process. And it's turned it from what was a frustration and annoyance and some shame that was associated with being annoyed into I'm so grateful that I get these moments. I'm enjoying this moment as much as possible. And we'll talk a little bit about this in a second. But there's so many breathing techniques out there. You know this, you're on this channel. I've tried so many of them. I've spent so much time down the scientific end of breath work. But everything changed last October in Wyoming when I learned these conscious connected breathing techniques. So Paul, I want to just thank you because I'm so grateful. You've changed my life. The process has changed my life. And I'd love for you to just talk a little bit, if you could, about what is the process, why it's a bit different. Just whatever feels good in your heart to talk about when it comes to Vivation.
Yeah, so well, I'll start by just the quick one, which is the elevator pitch. When people ask me, what do you do? And I've been doing this for a long time, and so if I said breath work, even as recently as 3 years ago, people won't even know what that is. And even now, most people still don't know what that is. People like Wim Hof and stuff have popularized it, which is great. And then James Nestor's book has popularized breath work. But as recently as 3 or 4 years ago, people didn't know what breath work was. And so if I said I'm a breath worker, they wouldn't know what I'm talking about. And then what's interesting, and this is important, is for about 20 years, so all through the 90s and the aughts, Jim refused to call Vivation breathwork. And the reason for that is because Vivation is predominantly a meditation. It's an embodiment skill. The breath is important. It's the first of 5 elements. So it's very integral to the whole process. But when somebody would ask me, well, what do you do for a living? I said, well, I teach people a physically pleasurable skill that they can learn in a few days to efficiently, in other words, quickly, and permanently resolve any kind of negative emotion, stress, trauma, or pain. It's a big claim. And, people call me on it when I show up. They go, that's a big claim. Are you sure? And I'm like, I'm absolutely sure I can say it with confidence. And so when I say it that way, people are like, oh, right, there's something to hang on to. Okay, it's a physically pleasurable skill. But what is that? Like, tell me more about it. And it's like, well, it involves 5 elements. There's circular breathing, which is a type of breathing where there's no pauses. Then we have the second element, which is complete relaxation, which we just did here in this beautiful thing that you guided where we let go. So Huberman's definitely understands this. Letting go, completely letting go. There's even a beautiful book out there by David Hawkins I recommend called Letting Go. So very good book, but it's all about the second element. This is letting go, relaxing. Every exhale is an opportunity to let go. The third element is awareness and detail, which is all about feeling awareness. So there's no cognitive component to vivation. It doesn't matter what you're thinking. There's no if you have positive thinking, negative thinking, it's all fine. You could have the right idea, the wrong idea, no idea about what's coming up in a session. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. As long as you're feeling the feeling in detail, you're healing the feeling. So that's the cornerstone. That's the crucial part of this process. It's about feeling, being fully aware in the present moment with the felt sense in the body. And the breath is there to support that aspect. Then we have the fourth element, which is integration into ecstasy. I could unpack that, but basically here it is. Anytime we have a negative experience or have an experience of negativity around a feeling or anything else, it's never the feeling itself, but rather our reaction or resistance to the feeling. So when we have a reaction or resistance to a feeling that comes up, we have that experience of negativity. So if we can relax and let go in the presence of that feeling and allow that feeling to be there presently, unconditionally, without judgment, without trying to solve it and make it go away or make it better or figure it out. And this is where we inhale through the feeling. So as long as we're inhaling and embracing that feeling as it is, let it go, feeling the feeling as it is and enjoying it as much as you can, you'll start to enjoy the feeling as it is unconditionally, and all feelings are unconditionally positive. People say, but wait, I'm having a negative experience. Yes, you are having a negative experience. I want you to relax your mind, let go. Notice the feeling and just bring your awareness to the feeling itself. And as you do that, you'll notice that the feeling itself is not nearly as bad as your worst thoughts about it. And as you start to be fully present with the feeling and really start to savor the feeling, that's one of my favorite words, savor the feeling as it is unconditionally, you start to experience all the inherent positivity that feeling has. So every negative emotion integrates into a positive experience. But what's happening is we're letting go of the illusion or a resistance around the feeling, and we experience it positively. I always like to use the example of a person on a roller coaster. If you see two people on a roller coaster, the person on one side is excited. They've already been on a roller coaster ride, and they're just all excited. Their hands are going to go up, and they've somehow forced or cajoled their friend or their spouse or whatever to join them on this, and they don't want to do it, and they're terrified. And you can see them holding on, they're resisting, right?
Mm.
And so we're thinking, well, they're both having the same visceral embodied experience. They're both on the roller coaster. What's the difference between one person and the other? Well, one person's fighting it. The other person's flowing with it, accepting it, enjoying it. There's no difference, though, in terms of the felt experience that those two human beings are experiencing. I mean, adrenaline's being kicked up, endorphins, all the different things. And you see when they're in resistance, they're terrified. You can see in their body, you can see they're resisting like this. They're holding, they're shutting down. But what happens oftentimes, invariably, as the roller coaster ride continues, is they get shaken loose. They're forced to take a deep breath, just like they have to, at some point because they're turning blue. They take that deep breath and then something lets go. Excuse me. Something lets go. And they, what? And the tears go down their eyes. They might start laughing, and then their hands go up, and they think it's the best thing ever. And the only thing that changed was their own relationship to what was happening. The feeling itself didn't change. The relationship to it did. So this is what Vivation is all about. It's about learning this very powerful, potent, but simple skill to be able to shift your relationship to feelings from resistance, where you experience all sorts of negativity and suffering, to acceptance and flowing, letting go and letting flowing, and experiencing the inherent joy of it. And this is what we call integration. And
Mm.
so way back in the day, it was so different from traditional rebirthing that Jim called it integrative rebirthing, because they were still doing something that looked very much like rebirthing as far as the circuit of breathing is concerned. But he realized quickly that there was 4 other elements that were essential for this integration, and that's where we get the other 4 elements: the complete relaxation, the the awareness in detail, which is the feeling aspect, the enjoying aspect, and then the willingness. We talk about willingness, which is the fifth element, which is do whatever you do, willingness is enough. As long as you're willing to feel the feeling as honestly as you can, not more than you can, and enjoy the moment as much as you can, not more than you can, you will have profound, efficient results with this work. So that's Vivation in a nutshell.
Yeah, for me, I guess I realized that I was so disassociated from my body. And there's a meme I often talk about. If anyone's ever seen the TV show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's a guy there that's talking about he's having feelings again, and I watched it and laughed when I saw that episode years ago, and then I was like, oh, that's me. I was really not feeling most of what was going on in my body, just completely dissociated. Um, and so when I tried this process at the start, it was quite hard, but I was able to feel my feet touching the floor, my back touching. There's always a feeling I was able to go to. Um, and what I love is it's a skill, it's a practice. The more you do it, the more you're able to feel more and more. Yeah, it's sometimes I find quite hard to put into words, and it's so much better to feel it, which is why we're going to do a mini version, just a small taster of it in a second. We have put the I think you call them how do you say it, Paul? Counterindications.
Contraindications.
Thank you. Contraindications.
No
Health
problem.
considerations, basically. So the big ones, they're all on the list below. But if you're epileptic, high blood pressure, could be pregnant or are pregnant, just stay away from any sort of breathing like this. You just enjoy it, observe it, watch it. We're going very, very gentle, and that's the other thing. Just a little. If I just put my 2 cents in here, when I've done rebirthing in the past, and I've gone in hot water and cold water, and I've done all these big conscious connected breathing techniques. My whole goal was to disassociate even further. So I'd really go for it, and I would just fly off into outer space. I'd have some beautiful visualizations, maybe a huge release, but nothing ever changed. I think I spoke about this a few times on this channel. Nothing changed. I did some really powerful rebirthing a couple of years ago, and yet nothing integrated, nothing shifted, nothing moved, because I was missing this. I was missing this part, this skill. And it's been an absolute honor to work with clients with this as well. And I think, Paul, you said you did some rebirthing a little while ago. You said you were so glad you had Vivation to kind of take you through it. You said all these other people were doing it, but you had the Vivation skill as well. And so it was this extra bit. And I feel like that now whenever I go and do anything really, I have this Vivation. So this isn't, I guess we should say, this isn't full Vivation. This takes time to learn.
No, we're going to do a very, very light, just sort of taste of it. And so for those that feel they want to, it's entirely voluntary. I can guide you through a little bit more vigorous circular breathing just so you get a sense of it. But on the whole, we're going to be much more gentle than I would in a normal session. I mean, Vivation is ultimately and foundationally, as a default, a gentle process. And you don't need to be vigorous with the breath in order to get results from that. In fact, most great results come when you're letting go of that, as Mike talked about, when you're chasing the high. We call it overamping in Vivation. When you're chasing the high, you end up you're avoiding in the present moment. You're no longer in the present moment where all the magic is happening, where all the alchemy is happening. And so you can chase for the high and get some kind of an experience, but ultimately you're just using it as a way of not feeling and ultimately not integrating. So today we'll just focus on some gentle breathing, and I'll try to bring in the other 4 elements. And you don't need to worry about just the prompts I'm going to give are just J6 suggestions to really just get into the process. Mike, how long would you like to go for so I can be mindful of the time on that?
If we do 20 minutes, Paul.
20 minutes, okay. So the first thing is to make sure that you're very comfortable. So whether you're welcome to do it laying down or sitting up. I think the main thing is to be relaxed. So, I mean, although it's really nice to have an erect posture, in this instance, just for this time at least, maybe lean back in your chair. I want you to just really let go. Okay. So just go ahead and close your eyes and go into your space. And just start taking slow and full deep breaths. And for the next minute or two, I want you to just Go as slowly and fully as you can go. And think of the inhale as an opportunity to sort of expand your lungs and your rib cage. Think of it like a stretch, so like when you're in the morning and you're kind of stretching your body after you're getting out of bed. Think of the inhale as sort of a stretch. You're just taking in as much air as you can comfortably. And then on the exhale, completely and totally let go. So the exhale should be completely and fully relaxed. You don't want to control the exhale in any way. So this isn't one of those things where you do 5, 6, 8 seconds inhale, 8 seconds exhale. I don't want you to do that. It's very, very important. One of the most important parts of this is that letting go. So if it does take you 8 seconds for the inhale, let the exhale come out on its own. It might come out fast, 2 to 3 seconds. It might take 5 to 6 seconds. But I want you to let the exhale completely go. Letting go of all effort. Letting go of all worry that you're doing this wrong. Because it's a simple breathing. Letting go. You can err on the side of the, we talk about circular breathing, which means that there are no pauses between the inhales or the exhales. The idea is you inhale. Once that last molecule of air is in, then let it go. Once that last molecule of air is out, take the next inhale. And you can start with there being a little bit of a pause at the end of the exhale in order to make sure that your exhale is complete. And as you're exhaling, just feel your whole body relax more and more, deeper and deeper, feeling all the last vestiges of stress and worry letting go and flowing out of you as the exhale completes. What I'd like you to do now is just gently scan through your entire feeling awareness from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers and toes. And just notice any feelings or sensations that are already present. And if you're the kind of person that says, I'm not feeling anything, that's fine. I want you to notice what you're sitting on or what you're laying on. Notice the pressure of gravity. So you are already feeling something. So we're not looking for feelings that may or may not be there. This process is very, very simple. Just notice the feelings that are already present in the body. And when I say feelings, I mean both sensations and emotions. So anything you're feeling in the body. And just notice which sensations in your body are asking for your attention the most. In other words, which feelings or sensations are the most obvious to you in this moment to moment. And if it's a particular feeling in a particular location, give that location and that feeling your fullest attention. If the feeling is changing or moving around, no problem. Just follow it with your awareness. If a new feeling becomes more prominent, simply shift to focusing on the new feeling. And the idea here is I want you to really tune the feeling in well enough to notice the subtle changes that are already occurring in the feeling. So just continue to tune the feeling in well enough to notice that the feeling itself is never quite the same. It's always changing moment to moment to moment. And you can start to inhale through the feeling. And what I mean by that is since your awareness is already on that part of your body, it's already on the feeling. Imagine that you're inhaling the feeling into your awareness almost like you have a straw and you're sucking in the beautiful, delicious nectar, like, say, the most delicious drink you've ever had. I want you to inhale that feeling, and I want you to savor that feeling. See if you can find a way to enjoy it, even if it's just a tiny little bit. Notice that the feeling itself is not infinitely bad. It's at least 1% pleasurable. So just enjoy that 1%. So you're inhaling the feeling, you're inhaling through the strongest feeling. And as you inhale through that strongest feeling, you're opening up to receiving whatever that feeling has to offer you. And then let it go. Completely let go on the exhale. Let go of all effort. Let go of all resistance. Let go of everything. If your attention is going off into your mind or you're getting caught up in thoughts, no problem. If you're distracted or you're caught up in thoughts, gently bring your awareness back to the strongest feeling in the body. And you go back to just scanning through your feeling awareness and just noticing what this moment feels like in your body. Inhale through it and let go. And there's a reason we want to be able to tune that feeling in well enough to notice the subtle changes. If we can tune the feeling in well enough to notice that the feeling is changing moment to moment, then what we're really doing is we're cutting through the illusion of stuckness. And the reason this is so powerful is because oftentimes when we are having an experience of negativity in our lives, and we are having an experience of negativity around an emotion, it's because of the perception that the feeling is stuck. I mean, if the feeling wasn't stuck, we probably wouldn't freak out about it. But if we can relax in the presence of the feeling and really start to tune it in, we cut through that illusion of stuckness, and we start to see that the feeling itself is a dynamic, blissful pattern of energy, and that the feeling itself is not nearly as bad as our worst thoughts about it. So just continue to inhale through the strongest feeling and let it go. Let go. You don't need to do anything for this process to work. The more you can relax and let go and just allow the feelings to come and go, the sooner they will integrate into joy. And this is really important. Any feeling that comes up in a session, any emotion that you have, is not a verdict about you. It is a pattern of energy passing through. So the more you can relax and let go of owning it, let go of identifying with it, just allow the feeling to be there. Give it your fullest attention unconditionally. Try to be very gentle and patient and kind with yourself in the presence of that feeling. Just letting it go and letting the feeling flow. And the feeling will pass through you. Letting go and letting flow. And the other quality that we often experience when we're having a negative experience or negative emotion is the feeling of heaviness. People often say, oh, I feel really heavy, I feel really down. I feel weighed down, oppressed, heavy, solid. The feeling is solid. And so the antidote to that is when we inhale through the strongest feeling. What we're really doing is we're reminding ourselves that the feeling itself is permeable to air. It's transparent. That the feeling itself is a spacious, luminous pattern of energy. That the feeling itself is not solid. And so when we inhale through the strongest feeling, it helps us cut through the illusion of solidity. So we explore the subtle changes in the feeling, we're cutting through the illusion of stuckness. And when we inhale through the strongest feeling, we're cutting through the illusion of solidity, which are two of the primary reasons or perceptions of negativity. So just continue to breathe. And I want you to feel free now to adjust the breathing. The beauty of Vivation is there's no right or wrong way to breathe. You just breathe in whatever way feels good for you. So if you need to speed up the breathing a little bit, or I want you to just enjoy the breathing and play with the breathing. There's no fixed, dogmatic, sort of rigid way to breathe here. Just breathe in whatever way you want. The idea of Vivation is we are always exploring and playing with the breath. And we call it the 3 E's. You're breathing to enhance the awareness of the feeling, so you're breathing to sort of feel the feeling itself. You breathe in a way to explore the feeling and explore all the nuances of sensation and all the nuances of pleasure that's in the feeling. And you can modulate and change the breath as the feeling's changing. And lastly, we breathe in a way to enjoy the feeling. So if it doesn't feel good right now, try changing your breathing up. Try breathing in a different way. So just have fun with the breath. And for today's little short session, I just want you to cultivate gentleness and kindness and patience with yourself in the presence of the feeling. One of the reasons the feeling has been there and it's kind of stuck and it's been a problem is because we haven't been gentle with it. So this is your opportunity to really let go in the presence of that feeling and just be open and calm and quiet and patient and kind with yourself in the presence of that feeling. And recognize that the feeling itself is not a verdict about you. Just keep letting go on the exhale. And just enjoy this moment as much as you can. Just enjoy it as much as you can. Don't even worry about it. Nothing needs to change. Just let go and let it be. The feeling itself is already enjoyable. So it's just a matter of letting go of your negativity and resistance around it. So you don't need to do anything to enjoy a feeling because the feeling itself is already enjoyable. So just relax, let go, and trust. As you're inhaling through the strongest feeling, just savor that feeling. You want to milk that feeling for every drop of pleasure you can get out of it. Squeeze as much joy out of that feeling as you can. Just be open and receptive to every small pleasantry of the present moment. Just be grateful for your capacity to appreciate the feeling. Be grateful for your ability to feel. feelings are good. So just relax, let go. Trust the process. Your body knows what to do. The feeling cannot hurt you. If it was going to hurt you, it would have done so long ago. The reason the feeling's coming up right now in this moment is precisely because it's your body's way of saying, hey, I need a little bit of love right now. So just let go of your struggle. Acknowledge that you have struggled with this feeling long enough. And now you can just let go now. Just let go. It's okay. You've carried the weight long enough. Good job. You've been a trooper. And the reason it's here now is it just needs your gentle kindness, patience, and love. So just inhale through it, acknowledge it, be open to receiving the benefits of the feeling, and just letting go. And trust that everything's going to be okay. Every feeling integrates into joy. Every feeling integrates into joy eventually. Just trust in the inevitability of integration. So you inhale through the strongest feeling and let go. Inhale through the strongest feeling and relax. Inhale through the strongest feeling and let go. And enjoy. Enjoy this moment as much as you can. So just continue to stay present as much as you can with the feeling. And just feel the feeling in detail. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to know what the feeling is. You don't have to figure it out. Just let go of all that. Let go of any understanding at all. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to analyze it. Stop trying to change it or make it go away. Just let the feeling be there and allow it to express itself. It's just a new type of joy. It's not meant to be figured out. It's meant to be felt and enjoyed unconditionally, just as it is. And as you relax and allow the feeling to come up, it will unfold continuously, continually unfolding new types of joy and new types of pleasure and new types of bliss. It's like an eternal burbling spring of ever constant ongoing novelty and joy and bliss. So just relax, sit back, and enjoy it. And don't miss the show. Stay present with the feeling. Or you might miss out on the beautiful tingling of aliveness, of the little bliss and little tinglings that are there. And acknowledge that you're already doing the process perfectly. Just being present at all, just showing up at all. Just doing your very best is all that matters. By the way, you can inhale and exhale through your nose, or you can inhale and exhale through your mouth. Either one is fine. As I mentioned before, there's no right or wrong. Just breathe in whatever way feels good for you in the moment. Just have fun with it. Whatever feeling is there, just honor it as a teacher. And be open to the feeling being pleasurable in a new and unusual way. Just be open to the possibility that the feeling is enjoyable in a way that you least expect. Because every moment is unique. Just completely relax and let go. And just be open to the possibility that the feeling is more pleasurable than you imagine. So just stay open-minded about it. So we have what's called the 3 points to remember in Vivation. I always tell people if they forget everything I talk about, as long as you remember these 3 points, you're golden. So the first point to remember is explore the subtle changes. And this is simple. We just explore the subtle changes in the strongest feeling in the body, wherever it happens to be, and present itself moment to moment to moment. And by exploring the strongest feeling, by exploring the subtle changes in the strongest feeling, we cut through the illusion or delusion of stuckness and see that the feeling itself is an eternal burbling spring of novelty. It's always changing moment to moment. And so the perception of stuckness evaporates, it dissipates. So first point to remember, explore the subtle changes. Second point to remember, inhale through the strongest feeling. Obviously, we inhale through our mouth or nose, but the idea here is as you inhale through that part of your body, imagine that you're inhaling through that part of your body, you're opening up to receiving that feeling, and you're cutting through the illusion of solidity and heaviness by reminding yourself that the feeling is transparent to air, and you're reminding yourself and opening up to the feeling and start to become more aware of the spacious and luminous aspect of the feeling. So you're cutting through the illusion of solidity. And the third point to remember is enjoy this moment as much as you can. And the idea there is you're just opening up to receiving, opening up to the possibility that the feeling is more enjoyable than you can imagine. Just keeping an open mind about it and just allowing all the unique types of joy and pleasure that are there fill your awareness. So always just be open-minded about it and enjoy the feeling in the moment as much as you can. Not more than you can, just as much as you can. And as you do that, notice that it sort of puts you in touch with whatever is there that's limiting your ability to enjoy. It could be a thought or concern in your mind, it could be an unpleasant emotion or an ache in the body. That's okay. Just enjoy the moment as much as you can and allow that to gently put you in touch with whatever is there that's limiting your ability to enjoy the feeling even more. And whatever is there, whatever feeling is there, that's good. Just bring your love and attention and patience and kindness to that feeling that's limiting your ability to enjoy. And notice that that feeling is not nearly as bad as your worst thoughts about it. If it's a thought or a concern in your mind, no problem. Notice how you feel about it. How does that feel? Where are you feeling that in the body in the moment? Where is the strongest feeling in that moment? Just bring your awareness to your body. Hail through the strongest feeling and let go. Explore the subtle changes. Enjoy this moment as much as you can. And for these last couple of minutes, just take your time. We'll just gently, gently come out of session. Take your time. We always like to say that every Vivation session comes to its own natural conclusion. So there's no rush here. Take all the time you need. Maybe take a couple of deep breaths. Let it go. Maybe a big sigh. If you're laying down, feel free to lay to one side or the other. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes or stretch. And just take another minute or so and just check in. Just let go.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm constantly humbled and in awe of not only the breath but the vivation process. It brings me to my knees in pure humbleness every time. This ability to change our state, something that I used alcohol, drugs, caffeine, nicotine, Netflix for decades. And just having this gift. I was laughing halfway through the session. If anybody had caught a peek of me, Paul and I were speaking last week, and Paul said something so beautiful to me. It's like, people take their breath work so seriously, and levity is so important. And so anyway, I'm here. I'm on YouTube. I'm trying to give you guys a good session. I'm trying to breathe, really serious. And my baby's screaming next door while he's being bathed. The dog's going mental downstairs trying to rip the stairgate. I had to mute myself, and I'm trying to ignore it. And I was like, no, I vibe through this process. How does that feel? Feels frustrating, but then the frustration turned into funniness, and I just started laughing through it. I was like, what a wonderful place to get to breathe with all of you today, all over the planet. I'm in my bedroom. Paul's in America. I'm in England. Baby's crying next door. Dog's barking downstairs, and we're all breathing together. So just thought I'd share that, because it's very powerful, this vivation. It's very simple but very powerful. Once you learn the skills, it's beautiful. So thank you, Paul. If you've got any questions about that session, or please just pop in the chat how you found it. How do you feel now? And if you notice your subtle changes in your body, what do you notice? And any questions, put them in. I've got a question here, actually, Paul. This came from a client yesterday, and I thought, I'll save this for Paul. And he was saying that we were going through the vivation session, and he was breathing. I was breathing with him, because for people that don't know, the person guiding the breath work is also viving, which I think is beautiful. So many of these breathwork modalities, there's a teacher, and they're standing over you and shouting and breathe, mother lover, and all these things. And yet we vibe together, which makes such a beautiful session because you're then saying what you feel as opposed to what you think. Anyway, so he said yesterday, my client, he said, as he's going through the process, Paul, and he's breathing, emotions want to come up, but then he's thinking or feeling or both, if I start to let that emotion come up, it's going to disrupt the breathing pattern. What should I do?
Mm,
Should I suppress it to keep breathing, or should I let it come up, but then it's going to interrupt the breathing?
absolutely let the feeling come out no matter what. The breathing is always in response to the feeling. So the breathing is secondary. The breathing is a supportive element for the third element, awareness and detail. So we always allow the feelings to come up, and then in response, in resonance to the feeling, we breathe in a way that's going to allow that feeling to come up and allow us to make peace with it. And so we're always playing with the breathing as a way of honoring the feeling and just being present with it. And this just comes from trial and error. It comes from experience and intuition and felt sense. And as you do this process more and more and get better with it, with the 7 basic lessons that we have that are very structured, as your client is being walked through, you start to realize, though, right, my body is teaching me how it wants to be breathed. And so just allow the feelings to come up, and it might knock the wind out of you. Okay, like, whoa, this is really intense. Okay, maybe breathe faster and shallower. That's always a good response. I mean, that's my go-to. If it's really super intense and I don't know what to do with it, it's like overwhelming. The faster and shallower breathing certainly helps, to do that. And then it allows me, okay, now I can start to open up and start to feel it and embrace it and let go. And so we always modulate the breath in relationship to and in response to whatever feelings come.
Hmm. People are just asking some questions. I'm just making sure I'm multitasking here. So I've just popped some links. I don't know if the links will work actually in the chat. Um, Thank you. I think my client's hopefully on for this half. If not, he's going to watch it back again. But yeah, so let the feelings lead.
But we call that body leadership or body wisdom,
Body,
right?
love it. So some lovely comments here, Paul. So Ruth said very relevant for me today. Thank you. V Ziegler said got me out of my head and into my higher body awareness. Thank you. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, right, awesome.
Jane says, oh, she's in Washington. Thank you, Jane. Elle says, excellent session. I love it. Tell me how I can learn this better. Online offerings. So I've just popped the links in the chat. I'm actually going to put Paul's monthly membership link as well. I'm going to pin that as a comment if it'll let me on YouTube. I'll pin that as a comment. But we're gonna share all this. So whenever you're watching this, if
And
you
of course,
just
there's teachers
scroll
out there
down,
too. Yeah, so if people
yes.
want to learn, so there's the membership they want, and I do 2 live sessions a month. I have a growing library of mini sessions I'm working on. And then, of course, if you want to really, really learn it, I recommend doing the whole 7 basic lessons course, which gets you from beginner to full mastery on autonomy and sovereignty with a skill. That's called the 7 basic lessons. And obviously, I teach that, Mike teaches that, and there's a growing list of teachers. We don't have a directory on the website right now. That's coming. But if you just want to send off an email to us at support@vivation.com or info@vivation, you can go to the website and fill out a form. If you're looking for a teacher near you, there might be. So feel free to inquire. There's quite a few teachers that are willing to work online as well. So plenty of options out there to learn it better.
Oh, page not found. What am I doing here? Bear with me 2 seconds. Oh no, it's working for me. I think it's something about the links in the chat. I don't think they don't really want the links in the chat, so I think they're a bit broken. If you scroll into the video itself, there is a learn more about becoming a breathwork teacher. If you click on that, and you'll be in the website there, and you can go and if you're not looking for the teacher training or something else. So yeah, so if you are interested in me being your teacher, I've popped my email address in there as well. I take clients through this. It's one of my favorite things to do. Question here. So Ruta says, so in a sense, I should ignore thoughts and visions, just focusing on the feelings, right? Question mark.
Yeah, so we don't want to. Yes, we don't suppress it. We don't judge the thoughts. We don't try to make them go away. Just allow the thoughts to come and go, and it's just a matter of a shift in focus. So imagine the thoughts are going on up here. You're just saying, okay, they're there. So you're essentially ignoring that, It's more of a focusing on the feelings themselves and just
Mm,
allowing whatever thoughts are there. We always say letting the mind or the discursive mind going on vacation and just relaxing that and just going into the feelings. So, yes.
beautiful. So I can't believe the hour's gone by. So thank you for those that are sticking around. So we're going to just spend the next 10 or 15 minutes talking about the teacher training in Thermopolis in April. Paul, just again, give me those dates. What was the date it
April
starts?
20th to 29th.
April 20th till 29th. I'm just going to share my screen and I'm just going to share a couple of pictures because they're just awesome. Um, just let me know when that comes up, Paul.
Yeah, I see it. That's Torin, who's one of my favorite Vivation teachers in the world. And Torin's from Norway. And Torin was one of the co-instructors for that training this October. And what she's doing there is coaching somebody doing warm water vivation. So we try to always include warm water vivation. The water was quite warm, so Celsius probably like 42 Celsius or about 104 Fahrenheit. And doing water vivation is very, very powerful. It tends to stimulate and activate early core wounding and early stuff, but because the water is so relaxing and pleasant, it allows us to safely bring up those feelings and integrate them. And so you can absolutely, definitively resolve, integrate birth trauma, for example, in warm water. You can pretty much integrate birth trauma anytime, but warm water especially is oftentimes the catalyst for that.
Yeah. I've snuck a couple of extra photos in there. So there's our wonderful group that we were there. So I just want to say it was one of the highlights of last year being in this group, and we all got to vibe with each other. We were in a room, weren't we, Paul, for 10 days, 12-hour days.
10 days, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it
We
felt
had big
effortless.
breaks, but yeah, it was intensive. Yeah, 10
Yeah.
it was 11, I think it was 11 and a half hours, but there's an hour and a half break. So 11 and a half minus, so about 8 hours of actual classroom where we're doing, whether we're coaching or teaching or doing theory. So all of that was in those 8 hours, but over from 10 o'clock in the morning to about 9 o'clock at night, roughly 9:30.
And I really feel like I found my tribe with you guys and gals. It was really wonderful. I loved everybody, and I've been on all sorts of retreats and teacher training. And there's normally somebody that's you've got what do you call it? You don't gel with. Whereas I just found everybody just to be so lovely on this group, and there's something about the vivation process I think that attracts a certain person. Um, so I think this is just me post one of the sessions. I remember like crying my eyes out and just giving Paul a hug as well and going, I get it now, I get it. I'd gone through a few vibration sessions and I had this incredible sadness behind my eyes. And yet I was enjoying the moment as much as possible. And I just felt complete joy. It was the most interesting feeling to have this sadness, but also this feeling of joy, lightness, yeah, just this ability to feel my feelings, which sounds so strange, but when we think about it, we suppress so much. We're so busy in the mind, we're so busy with our day to day. It's a lovely picture as well. A couple of ladies that have been through the training with us, and I get no. Just take a look at the background as well. It's such a special place. This is one of my pictures I snuck in. So there's like hot springs everywhere. So this was me going for a walk one day. There's this really cool suspension bridge, and you can just walk all around here. So I would often just go for a little walk by myself in the evenings, just clear my head a little bit. And not the greatest picture, but you can see that the water's got all these cool colours in. And if you get up early in the morning, you can see the steam. Here's one of us. So you've got this hot tub here. There's this bit in the back you're not meant to go in, but we all went in there. It was like super hot and really it felt really good. And there's just something, yeah, the water's incredible. So you get, very safely, guided by Paul. If you want to, you can be face down in the water with a snorkel while doing the conscious connected breath, while vibing. And you obviously do it with somebody. You don't ever do it by yourself. It was so powerful. It was so beautiful. And this is the mornings. This is before the retreat would start. I think 10 in the morning would kick off, Paul.
Yep, yep. We were
So
always
the
out there
more
every morning doing warm
yeah.
water.
So you're up
Yeah,
at
great.
6 or 7, and you come out and you get in the hot water and you have a chat with some people, and then you go and have breakfast. It's wonderful, really, really wonderful. I had some really, really profound moments there. So let's talk a little bit about the teacher trainers. There's a couple of spaces left, isn't there, Paul? So do you want to just share with people a little bit more? The link is in the in the chat if people want to know more. All I can, if I can just put my own stamp on this and say, if you've got the opportunity to do it, consider doing it. This isn't a big sales pitch. Oh my God, buy all these things. It's changed my life in so many ways. I've learned the skills, and it's a little bit selfish in a way. Part of it was to enhance my own practice, which it absolutely did. It took it to a whole new level. But now I have a new offering for my clients, and I've picked up many clients. I've been really lucky. I've had many people come to me already, and I'm teaching the process straight away, which is wonderful. And then I have a wonderful support network with you and all the other teachers. So if I'm ever lost or need help, there's somebody just a few minutes away on a WhatsApp text that will come back to me. So from my perspective, it's I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it with other people. I'm so glad I made the trip out there to do it. And I know that I've learned like a skill for the rest of my life now. And I'm just giving it back, giving it back, giving it back. Even today's session, the opportunity to do this with you is truly wonderful. So yeah, support any. I'd love to get your thoughts on what's going on, why people should consider
Yeah,
it, what they should do next.
so first thing I think some people bring up is, well, I have I've never been a teacher before, or I've never been a facilitator before, or I'm new to breath work, or whatever. That was true for me when I came into this. I had some breath work with pranayama and yoga, but otherwise I wasn't a teacher or anything. And so this training is comprehensive. So if you're an auto mechanic, and you want to learn how to become a breath worker or a Vivation teacher, or even if you just want to deepen your own personal journey, with emotional mastery and spiritual mastery, this training's for you. So we the first 3 days is I guide everybody through the 7 basic lessons. And so it's very in depth, and I guide you from the beginning to full mastery, autonomy with the skill, and then we deepen it and deepen it and deepen it as the training continues. And as the training continues, you're learning how to facilitate it for others and learning how to teach it to others. And so you'll learn as much by trying to teach it as you do from me talking. And so the training gives you all of that. And then, of course, we have all the follow-up training and support that we do. The support is ongoing in perpetuity. But there is a formalized structure in the 2 to 3 months after the training, where I offer to do one-on-one coaching with people to help them if they've got their first client or they just need training. We also do lots of trade sessions where you can continue to, people hop on all the time on my calendar and grab a trade with me. So the training is very comprehensive, and if you're new to all of this, we welcome you. In fact, I would say that sometimes it's the people coming in fresh like that end up being the best teachers, because they don't have any other preconceived ideas and notions. But whether you're a seasoned professional and you've been doing this a long time and you want to deepen your practice and have another offering, or do a pivot career-wise, or you're fresh off the street, this training is for you. I've designed it so that it is comprehensive in this way. Oh, I think you're muted, Mike.
I'm on mute, classic. I've just updated the link in the chat, so it's the proper teacher training link now. It's a new URL. I apologize. I've just put that in, and I've updated it in the bit below as well. So you can go on there. And Paul, how's it work? It's like a discovery call for those that, because it's a two-way process, right?
Yes. So you go to the page. You'll see the whole page that goes through all of the details of the page. There's a introductory video by me. You can see some footage of Thermopolis with that. And then you can go through and kind of see what the program's about. At the very bottom, there's an apply button. And just so you know, we have payment options now, which is great. You can finance it over 12 months, so you can bring the rates down pretty affordably. I do offer some limited scholarships. The primary thing I'm looking for is the right person that has the heart for this. And so the interview that I do with people is mainly just to get familiar. You get to learn a little bit more about me. We have a nice casual conversation, and I answer any specific questions or concerns you might have about the training. And just to really make sure, because it is an investment, it's a big investment. You're going to be traveling, coming, spending 10 days, and committing to that. And so I want to make sure that you feel comfortable with it as well. So it's an opportunity to meet and greet and get to know each other and discuss to see if it's in alignment with you. And then once that's done, then I send you the registration link if we decide that it's going to be a good thing for you, and then you can register and secure your slot for the training.
Yeah,
so it's a discovery call. You can book it at the bottom. So when you click the apply button, it's going to give you a short application. And just some people don't see this, but once you click the apply button, it should take you to my scheduler where you can book the 30-minute call with me. And it's a Zoom call.
Beautiful. So again, if you feel called to this, if you enjoyed the guided session, and you have the means and the opportunities to get there, have the call with Paul. I would say just have the call, and it's a two-way thing. You know, you need to feel it's right. Paul also needs to feel that you're right for it as well. There's only a couple of spaces left now. It's a very intimate group, and so this isn't a big, you know, let's sell it to 1,000 people thing. This is very, very intimate, and just a wonderful process. And you know, you're going to be with 12 people for 10 days for, you know, 10, 12 hours a day. So it's wonderful, wonderful experience. I can't wait to get back. Just a couple of last comments I can see on here as well. So apparently there's a Russian Vivation teacher, Paul, called Luba Bogdanova.
Oh yeah, Luba Bovic. Yeah, yeah, Luba's a good friend. She was
Ah,
super sweet.
she trained one of
I
the
don't
people
know.
here.
She did train with me. I've taken her through some basic and advanced training. I don't know if she's I don't know because I haven't kept in touch with her. But and I don't know if she's teaching Vivation formally because yeah, I don't know. I don't know what she's up to. But Luba's a good person.
Nice.
I've known Luba since 2016. Yeah, and she went through several trainings with me.
Yeah, oh, beautiful. Um,
Hmm.
Ruth has asked, would you consider doing any teach training in Europe?
Yeah, we're actually talking about that. So there is a possibility. I mean, I'm not sure. I can't give you any confidence at this point. Right now, we're doing two trainings. I mean, right now our basic schedule will be doing two trainings here in Wyoming, this spring and fall. And again, right now the only for sure training is this one. So
Hmm.
everything else is I don't want to commit. We're not fully solidified into a training past this one. So it's sort of like we're still working out the new training manual and the new methodology. But we would like to do a training in Europe. I'd like to do a training late summer, early fall in Europe. But there's just nothing for sure there. There's a lot that would need to happen for that to happen. What I can say is long term, there will be regular trainings in Europe. That's like for sure.
Very exciting.
By
Very
next year,
cool.
by in other words, by 2025, that will be. I can say with high confidence, we'll be having at least one or two trainings in Europe.
Wonderful. Yeah. And at some point I will not teacher training, but I will be doing a Vivation group in person session. So Rick's just asked, Mike, are you doing any workshops? Yeah, I don't have any dates yet. I'm just putting the calendar together right now for this year, and just figuring a few bits out. So Rick, if you get the opportunity, I've just popped, or anybody else that's got questions, just email me. I've just put hello at takeadeepbreath.co.uk. If anybody's interested in doing something in England, or in Europe, drop me a note. And as I build this year's plans, and I'll be talking to Tom in a couple of months as well, figuring a few bits and bobs out. I'll circle back and let you guys know first, because you're the ones that came onto this live stream, so I want to make sure that you get the first, the news first. Wonderful. There's still 44 people watching, an hour and 15 minutes in, so I feel like we should probably finish off with a little bit more breath work. But what I want to just say is, if you have any other questions, pop them in the chat. You've got the link to the teacher training there as well. Have that conversation with Paul. Um, and if you've got any questions for me, pop them in the chat, or you can email us as well. So let's just go ahead and let's just do a little bit of final breath work together. Just something nice and gentle. Let's finish with a little bit of coherence. My Zoom's not playing ball, so we'll go guided. So I'm going to just breathe in and out, a nice equal breaths. I'll guide you through it. Just do it for a moment or two. So many benefits, this breath work. It was just recently featured on Andrew Huberman. It was on the BBC as well. Google News just promoted this to the top of Google News as well. So I think people are waking up to the power of all these different breathing techniques. So just go ahead, close your eyes, start to pay attention to the breath again. And I'll just guide us in. So breathing out, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just slowing down slightly. Out, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in slowly. 3, 2, 1. Breathing out gently. 3, 2, 1. Breathing in softly and quietly. 3, 2, 1. Breathing out gently and effortlessly. 3, 2, 1. Breathing in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out. 4, 3, 2, 1. And just breathe at a pace that feels good for you now. Just try to make the breath as equal and as slow as feels good for you. And just gently on the inhale and effortlessly on the exhale. And you can pretend you're breathing in through the heart. And if you want to supercharge this breath work, I'm going to give you some pro tips now. I've not talked about this publicly, but there's nothing new in breath work, let's be honest. But I've just been playing with different techniques. So there's the ujjayi, which is the ocean sound in breath, which sounds like this, which is like fogging up the mirror. So when you're breathing in on the coherence, if you want to supercharge the inhale, you can do the ujjayi inhale, which sounds like this. Now, you can do the exhale the same way, or if you want to supercharge this even further, just do a gentle hum. So it looks and sounds like this. Just keep going for another couple of breaths by yourself. Lovely throat constriction there. Lovely hum, producing beautiful extra nitric oxide, opening up the lungs, sterilizing the air, helping us take a more efficient breath. The coherence being balanced, helping our heart beat better, be younger, lowering blood pressure, reducing stress. So many benefits to breath work. Again, you don't need to be up a mountain. You don't need to be in your pants. You can be at a bus stop. You can be on a train. You can be at the shopping mall. You can be anywhere. And you've always got the breath. Okay. And you can just go back to regular breathing whenever feels good. Paul, any last words from you before we close today's session?
Well, thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure. Always a great opportunity to spill the vibe. It's always a gift. And for those of you who are feeling called to this, if you just want to learn it more, feel free to come to the website. Feel free to reach out to Mike, or if you're looking for a teacher that's, if you're like wherever you are in the States, let's say, there's teachers that might be close to you. And we're all, of course, available to do Zoom calls. And then, of course, there's the membership if you want to hop on that, where we do 2 live sessions a month. So lots of options for you to learn more about it and to become better at this.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, as we draw the session to the end, I just want to thank each and every one of you for clicking on this video today, for sharing some of your precious life energy with us. We've got a finite amount of time on this planet. And I really honor anybody that gives up any of their attention and time and life to be with us. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this channel, helping us grow. Maybe consider sharing this video with a friend or a loved one that you think might benefit from Vivation. It's free and takes seconds to do so. And if you get the opportunity to leave a comment down below, it really helps the algorithm, and it means that more people are likely to see this video. And at the very least, they're going to get to learn a bit of coherence and some breath awareness and some Vivation tasters. So if you get the opportunity, just leave a little comment, a thumbs up, a kiss, a smile, just something like that. We would really appreciate it. Okay,
On that
so
note, I just want to say real quick that if they do leave comments, I will keep an eye on it, and I will happily respond as well. So if they want to put a question down there for me, I'm happy to respond in the
beautiful.
comments as well. Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody. Speak to you soon. Cheers.